Welcome back to Bet on the Bounce. My name's Dobby and this is Dos. But a bit of a change of pace this week being the bye rounds. Before we get into our bets from last week and our bets for the upcoming round, we're just going to look back on our bets for the Brownlow and for the Rising Star that we originally did at the start of the year. Look at those bets that we did, see how they're tracking, and then we'll go from see if we want to place another one or not. But what about your Brownlow bet? What did you go with at the start of the year?
My original one was Bontempelli. Then he obviously had the injury in the preseason.
And you went again?
And then I changed again to Will Day and then went down with a foot stress fracture about 2 weeks later.
So who is getting the curse this week? So whoever you bet on here, take them unders because massive chance they get injured. Who are you going to go with?
I think Bailey Smith's having too good of a season to look past for the Brownlow. He's virtually untaggable. No one really has the running power or capacity to go with him.
Yeah.
And again, just playing really good footy. So I'm going to go with Bailey Smith for $3.50 at the moment. Equal first with Jordan Dawson.
Yeah. I, at the start of the year, originally went with Nick Dacos. Got him at $6. He's now like $5, $4.50 marker in that area. So I took him at $6. There is two that I like. The two big prices that I do like. I don't mind the Bailey Smith one, obviously. It has a very similar vibe to the Heaney one last year. But he fell out in the end of the year, but I'm not sure if Smith will do that given, I guess he had a massive preseason given he didn't play last year and he's up and about. But the two I like are Caleb Sarong at 34s and Tom Green at 41s. I think I've already tipped those guys earlier this year for to win their team because they were both about $2 odds. I really don't mind them at that price to get the most votes, just overall, obviously, to win the Brownlow. But I don't think I'm going to put a bet on either of them just because I'll be obviously putting personal bets on them. I think those prices are ridiculous not to get on. I have a Brownlow tracker of my own and I have Tom Green on 15. And I think I have Dawson on 16, Bailey Smith on 17. So he's right there. And I think Tom Green's really good at doing the exact things that the umpires see, like contested possessions, clearances, disposals. So I think him and Sarong really fit the mould really well. So those prices I'll be hitting at personally, but I won't be putting any bets on for the show. What about Rising Star? What did you got at the start of the year?
My first one was Finn O'Sullivan. He's dropped out to $81.
Yeah,
he hasn't had a nomination yet.
He hasn't had that great of a game yet. Yeah.
No, he's shown glimpses.
Yeah,
but he hasn't had a full quarter performance yet. I'm probably going to change mine or just have another bet on it. I'm going to go with Connor O'Sullivan from Geelong.
Oh yeah,
for $10. I think he's having a really good year back then, especially when Jack Henry was out. He really stood up, and he's becoming that intercept lockdown defender. And it's really good to see from a young player.
Yeah, obviously Ollie Dempsey won it last year. It feels very similar to that as well. Geelong just find young players and turn them into talent, put them in the right position.
Yeah.
And he would have been probably around the same price this time last year before Harley Reid got injured. Ollie Dempsey would have been.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah, that's not a bad bet at all.
Harley got rubbed out for the...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He probably wouldn't have been rubbed out yet. So he probably would have been at the same price. But yeah, looking at this one, I originally went Levi Ashcroft at $4.50. He's now under $2.25, so I don't mind that bet at all. The one that I will be having a little bet on is the second favourite, Archie Roberts at sixes. I think he's played so well for Essendon. If he continues to play, he does. He's averaging such high disposals. He's been so good. I think $6 odds is just a little bit too high, and that kind of makes me feel good that I'm having a bit of a little go at Levi Ashcroft at $4.50 and then Roberts at sixes, but I think Murphy Reid has been too on and off. Connor O'Sullivan, I don't mind that one at tens. Langford, I just don't think has consistently been good enough either, especially with Viney out. He's had the chance. He very much had the chance to go a lot better with some of the injuries when Oliver missed a few, when Viney's now missed a few, but he just hasn't taken it fully. So I think Sam Layla would have been a good chance if he didn't have so much time injuries. I think it would have been a massive chance. He's out to 41s now, but I'll have just a little bit on Archie Roberts. But let's get into what's happening in the now. How did you go last round?
I had a couple wins. I had the Tigers Swans game got up for me, and the Giants Power one came home pretty easily.
Yeah, very easily.
Which was Green, Ash, Butters, and Rosie for 25.
Which is just a classic.
Yeah.
Classic for you.
And they were pretty much all done by 3/4 time, which was good. I know that last kick in from Connor Rosie cost you yours, the 27.5.
Yeah, I had him on the 27.5, and yeah, he had to kick in with what I didn't watch the game, but you told me it was 15.
I think it was 14 seconds.
14
to go.
seconds left. He had to kick in, and it cost me the overs. So, looking at my bets, yeah, I had 3 wins. I had the unders on the Friday night, and it was pissing down rain. That was like that. I had one before the game even started. Toronto goal. I didn't watch it, but he kicked the goal. And I Cripps and Merritt both under. They didn't even combine for 30. One got 15, one got 14.
Yeah.
So they didn't even combine for 30. So having Cripps under 28, he had 15. Merritt under 30, he had 14. So that one came in easy as well. The only one that I really missed close besides the Rosie one was probably Nick Dacos for 2 goals. He had a set shot late in the game, which would have got me that 575. So a bit stiff that he missed that. Also, Larky was awful.
Yeah.
He was awful.
Actually, I wouldn't say he was awful. I'd say Harry Hoover Edwards was pretty good.
Oh, was pretty good. Actually, he actually packed his bags, found a new place to live. He's moved out of Whoville.
Yeah. He's on the map.
He's on the map.
Yeah.
He's on the map.
If he keeps playing like that, he might be in the Australian 40.
Like, yeah, he was very good. So, him and Sandy Brock obviously doing some good stuff down there. Down there a lot. Down there a heap.
Yeah.
On the weekend, actually. It wasn't down
It wasn't down there.
It was like down the other end.
It was down there.
At
one point, they were 1-9.
Yeah.
And they were dominating. The inside 50s was like...
ridiculous.
It was like 4 goals from 20-something inside 50s. And I think West Coast had 3 goals from 50-something inside 50s.
Yeah, it's crazy that even when West Coast are dominating, they still don't ever have a standout player. They're all kind of just all right. Like, no one was clearly a standout in the weekend.
I thought...
Hewitt was good, though.
Hewitt was a standout.
For them, yep.
For them up until 3/4 time. Sort of was carrying that ankle injury in more into that fourth quarter, spent a bit of time on the bench. Mm-hmm. And then I don't think he touched it in the fourth quarter, but he still had 22 touches and a goal.
Yeah.
Which was pretty good.
Yeah. We look at Mitch from Biowee TV. He just had the 2 wins. One was Suns plus 31.5 came in pretty close. Hewitt, Real 20 plus, Hewitt 15 plus. They got there easy. And then Pendles, Bowie, and Oliver 20 plus, they got there pretty easy as well. So those were pretty short odds, but they both got through. He lost $73 on the week. I lost about 30, and you lost about 30 as well. You lost something about that as well.
Yeah.
But looking at the week ahead, I did say last week that I wasn't very confident in my bets and just had a small loss. Could have been a big win if Nick kicked that goal. But now this week, I feel very confident in my bets. They do look a lot more like your bets, actually, which is alarming. But I'm a lot more confident in my bets this week. So I'll get us into the first game here. The first game on Thursday night is St Kilda versus Bulldogs. So Jack McRae revenge game. This is the first time this year we've had a game that's already played once. Is playing again, so it's the first time this year we're having that. St Kilda are $3.43 and the Bulldogs are $1.32. The line's 20.5. For this one, I think that line's pretty silly. They beat them by like 70 points at the start of the year. So the Dogs are second for goals in the AFL, and the Saints scored their lowest score of the year against the Dogs. Like, out of all the games they played this year, the lowest score they've put up was like 54 points or something, because they're playing a lot more attacking this year, was against the Dogs. So I don't see the Saints winning this. Like, going from having your lowest score of the season to then beating the Dogs, I just don't think it's going to happen. So minus 20.5, I like that a lot. I like Sanders 15 plus and Harms 15 plus. I think they're just very much competitive ball, and I got very nice odds for them. They were both like $1.35-ish each to get 15 plus. Sanders gets that easy when he spends more time through there, and Harms against teams like the Saints, where it's a lot of disposals through the middle of the ground. He gets a fair few as well. So I just think this is a very winnable game for the Dogs. Minus 20.5 is a pretty nice line. I think it'd be a bit close, like 31, 32, but it's a nice line. What have you got?
I've gone Dogs to win. Dale and Wangan Miller for 25. Richards and Bont for 20. I didn't put Treloar in because I don't know what role he has really.
Yeah, because he's not spending too much centre bounce time.
No, but saying that's his second game of the year, so it'll probably increase.
Yeah.
That's why I left Sanders out as well, because when Treloar comes back in, he like sort of tends to be the one that gets pushed out.
Yep.
But but then he's had games where he's started at half forward and come up to be that extra at stoppage and had 14 in a quarter as well. So it's very doable.
Yeah.
But yeah, Richards and Bont just consistently getting 20 plus, I think. And Bailey Dale and Wang Miller have had 25 in the last 5 games. They're both averaging 28, so I'm expecting that to carry on. I think it'll be a very halfback dominated game.
Yeah. So the last time they played each other, Wayne Miller he had that 25 and Dale had 32, so he definitely could be a game. And he had the highest disposals for the Saints with 25.
Yeah.
So he only had 20. He just snuck the 25, but he was their highest disposal getter. So they'll probably try to utilize that more this time. But we have no guests this week. Give them a spell. You know, they've had a few losses a few weeks in a row, but we're taking applications. You know, if you want to send a video application through, feel free. But we have a few lined up, which is good. But just didn't get time to have one this week. I was too busy on the weekend. And Dos, you got the connections, mate. I'm sure you'll sort it out. But we can go straight into the next game. Keep it short and sharp this week. Who's Friday night?
Friday night, yeah, my crew up against the Crows. It's in Tasmania.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think it's the first Friday night game at University of Tasmania.
Ever?
Wow. Since they started playing there, obviously.
Yeah.
Hawthorn are $1.89 favourites, Adelaide are $1.95. The line's only half, 0.5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're expecting if it's a draw, you'll win?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Hit
you
the
lose
draw.
by a point, yeah. Hit the draw. The draw's paying. Anyway, what's your bet?
I've gone Hawthorn to win, Josh Ward for 20, and Josh Worrell for 15. So I'm keeping the Joshes in there. And Hawthorn to win. I think they were way better on the weekend against the Bulldogs. They kept them to a low score. Their pressure was up. Their tackles were up. I think they had more tackles against the Bulldogs than they did in the both games in the previous fortnight.
Like combined?
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're at training.
They were at training with mouth guards.
Mouth guards in,
yeah. Their pressure was up.
That's good.
And I just think they'll be too strong in Tasmania. I think
there will be too.
It's a hard game to go and verse the Hawks at, no matter where they are in their their rebuild years and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's $3.30 for me. What do you got?
I looked at Ward as well. I actually really like him to get disposals.
He's in
one.
good form.
And especially if Warple does miss, because
I don't even think it matters about Warple anymore.
Yeah.
He's sort of cemented himself as that third midfielder while Day's been out, because Cam McKenzie's back in the twos from his broken hand still.
Yeah. I looked at it. He's been so good while he's been in there. So I was definitely looking at him, but I did just leave him out of this one. By the way, the draw's paying 34s, so for those playing at home, have a little $5 shot on that and see how you go. I have gone. I looked at this one. I do think it's going to be a very close game, but I think there's just a few players that I think are just going to come up for the Crows, which is Laird and Dawson. I have them both get 24 plus over at Tab. This is one of those spiels, so hold your horses. I got Hawks are fourth for not allowing contested possessions, so they don't allow them a lot, and especially with this tackling game coming up, I think it's going to happen even more. When Laird plays a top 5 team at not allowing contested possessions, so teams that just don't allow them, he gets a lot of it on the outside, and so does Dawson. He averages 26, and Dawson averages 29. So they both average a lot of disposals, kind of just play the type of game they need to against a team that doesn't allow that. Not that they're going to get uncontested possessions only, but they just kind of play a different brand of footy that allows them to get more of it. Every single time they've played a top 5 team who doesn't allow contested possessions, they've been one of the leading disposal getters. So both of them to get 24 plus each, $3.75. I think that's, for each single game, that's probably my favourite bet of the round, I think. But I'll get us into the next one, which is the Lions and the Giants. Lions are very short. It is at the Gabba, but Lions are very short at $1.35. And the Giants are $3.23. The Lions 18.5. I thought, I know Lions are a good team, but their last 5 weeks, besides the win against the Hawks, has anything been
convincing?
That convincing? They lost to Adelaide. They probably should have won. You can say that all you want, but they didn't. And Giants, I know they lost. I don't know. I feel like I could trust the Giants to somehow sneak this one away, but For my bet, I have gone. This is a very similar bet to my last one, but the reverse. Sorry, not similar at all, I guess. Both strong performers versus teams that allow contested possessions. So when there is just teams that are hard for players like Lockie Neal, or especially players like Will Ashcroft or Hugh McCluggage, these guys seem to get more of it. Both Berry and Levi Ashcroft. So both of them to get 20 plus is $4.62. For a comparison, the team that allows the least amount of contested possessions is the Crows, and they played them last week. Levi had 23, Berry had 28, and now they're playing the Giants, who I believe allow this second most. So $4.62 for that, I really like that. Both of them are like on Sportsbet like $6.50, $7 odds to get 25 disposals. Like, it's not ridiculous to think Levi Ashcroft can get 25 disposals. So yeah, look at both of those by themselves. I'll be hitting those, but 20 each, $4.62. What have you got?
I've gone just simple again. Green, Ash, and Ashcroft for 25, and Jasper Fletcher for 15 for $2.80. I looked the other day. Ash has had 19 disposals once in round 2.
Yep.
And round 1.
Yep.
Sorry, and it was against the Giants. It was against the D's actually.
Yep.
But other than that, he's had 25 plus
in every game.
In every other game.
Yeah,
Green,
that's insane.
Green's had 30 4 times out of the last 5. So I'm hitting him for 25, and Ashcroft always just seems to pop up at 25.
Yep.
Fletcher has had 20 in his last 5 games as well, so I'm expecting him to carry on there. So
With 15, surely.
Yeah, for 15. Breaking it down a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, I like Green this one. I looked at the last time he's played them, and he's had a lot, but I just found too much value in these blokes and didn't want to taint it, I guess. But what's next game we got there?
Next game, Essendon and Geelong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it is. Probably Marvel.
Probably.
Geelong are $1.18. I think it's MCG. Geelong are $1.18 favourites, and Essendon are $4.95. The line is 28.5. I've taken Bailey Smith for 30, Darcy Parish for 20, Cats to win, and Merritt for 25. That's $3.30. Smith obviously was laid out for hamstring tightness on the weekend, so I'm expecting him to come back fresh.
Yeah.
Parish played his first game of the year and had 31 on his return. Was pretty scrappy with his disposals, but he still had
there was glimpses of what he used to do.
Yeah, he had 10 clearances, which is what they've been
He had
lacking.
the game high.
Yeah.
He had the game high clearances, which is what you need from anyone. Like, you get 10 clearances, you can butcher it. Toronto does every week.
Yeah.
But, 10 clearances is massive.
10 clearances is big, especially with first game back at AFL level.
Yeah.
And then, Cats to win, I don't think they lose this. And Merritt for 25, he got tagged pretty much all game by Chincotta, even off halfback.
He's pushing down back a bit. But the good thing is he's getting kick-outs.
He's getting kick-outs.
So he's Zach Merritt and he's getting kick-outs. I know he didn't have many last week, but I feel like...
I don't think Geelong will tag.
No, and not someone who's moving down halfback and moving around and whatnot. Yeah, so 25, it's kind of worrying because he just did so bad last week, but you so many times you see him have 18, 19, the next week he has 32, so you never know.
They could send Mark O'Connor, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he could go to Merritt, but then again, is it worth sending him to Merritt if he's playing off halfback?
Maybe not. Look at Ed Langdon.
Ed Langdon.
Or Nick Takeoff.
We'll get on to Ed Langdon soon.
Yeah, we'll get on to Ed Langdon soon. For this one, I had no idea what to bet on, but I saw $2 for Stengel to kick 2 against the Bombers. I think there's going to be a goal fest for the Cats, and I just couldn't pick who I wanted to kick the goals. And I saw Stengel for $2 for 2. He's just so good. And I think $2 is value. He probably should be $1.70, $1.60 or something like that for 2. I kicked 4 last week. I have no reason other than I didn't have a bet. Jeremy Cameron was too short. Dangerfield, I wasn't too sure of. Shannon Neal, I don't know. I just didn't like any of them too much. But Stengel $2 for 2, I just can get around that. That's it, really. But we look on the last game of the Saturday, which is North Melbourne versus Freo. This is actually over at Optus Stadium. North Melbourne sold this game. They sold this home game to Freo or however the fuck that works. But I'm not sure if it's a good idea to start selling games when you suck.
Especially to both of the
furthest.
Both of the WA teams, and they've sold them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially when one of the other WA teams also sucks.
Yeah.
So it's like you're
giving them an advantage.
You're giving them an advantage when you probably need that one.
And you probably shouldn't have won on the weekend against them.
No.
In all honesty.
No, but anyway, they sold this game to Freo, which I genuinely probably was gonna take them just to win. I saw $5.30, went, man, North haven't been that bad, and Freo travel awfully. Freo are like very well known to be one of like the worst travellers right now in the AFL. Like, you take that North at home, like coming off a win, I'm taking North. Nope, this is over and Optus. Yeah, there's no chance you win this game. No chance. Actually, I don't mind North in this one still. But they are $5.30. Freo are $1.16. The line for that one is 31.5. Yeah, for this, I really was keen on taking just Kangas win. If they do it now, I'll be very impressed. But I thought 5.30 was value, but in Optus Stadium, I'm just not sure. I do like here, though. I fiddled with this one so many times and added so many different variations of these three players, or just two of them, or whatever. But I got Sarong 24 plus. He's had 27 plus in his last four versus North. So he's had like 31, 27, 30, 36 or something like that. So he obviously gets a lot of footy against North. Sheasel had 24 plus. He's only played 2 games against Freo. He's had 30 plus in both. So he's been very good. And then Caleb Daniel takes advantage of teams that allow the players to get the ball off half back. And if you look at every Freo game, they've allowed one half back. Say if they played Collingwood, they allowed, I don't know, Houston or Dacos. Or you look when they had Nazai Wangani Malira or Bailey Dale. A lot of those, or Salem, like when they play these teams, that their halfbacks just get so much footy. And Caleb Daniel hasn't been an elite user, but that doesn't matter. I just need to get 19 of it. And I've taken this at tab, so it's Sarong 24, Sheasel 24, and Caleb Daniel 19 plus. Only $2.40, but I am pretty confident that will kick through, especially since Sheasel has gone back to the mid since in last game. So what have you gone?
I've gone the two boys from Freo, Sarong and Brayshaw for 25. I've gone Clark, Powell, and Caleb Daniel for 20 for $3.30. I just think Sarong and Brayshaw are too good at Optus.
Yeah.
Brayshaw's in excellent form. He's probably up there in the Brownlow race as well.
Yeah.
And they're coming off the rest break as well, so they'll be well rested.
And get to stay at home.
Yeah. And
so many parts of this are so bad for North. Like they've taken a lot of their chances out of this.
I think that they're staying there as well, so they won't have to come. They're not coming back to Melbourne.
Yeah.
They would have stayed in Bunbury or whatever they played. But then Clark's coming off 30 disposal game. Powell, I think he had 28, and Caleb Daniel had close to 30 on the weekend as well. So I'm expecting them to just continue trotting along, and that's $3.30 there. What are we in, Sunday now?
We're in Sunday, yep.
First game Sunday is Port Adelaide and Melbourne.
Yep.
I've gone Wines and Rosie for 25.
Yeah.
Jason Horn-Francis and Christian Petrarca for 20.
Okay.
I left Butters out.
Yeah.
Because I don't want
the human backpack
going to him and locking him down.
I think it might have been a one-off. I
don't know.
I have a sneaky suspicion that
it might have been a one-off.
This is
but
Nick
then they're
Dacos.
like, holy shit.
This works?
No,
but Ed Langdon's too good to spend his whole time tagging. You know how good he's been this year? We've been talking about how good he's been this year. They cannot spend his whole season tagging.
He completely...
First of all, Butters is incredible at breaking a tag. And second of all, you can't allow Wines to go off. And they'll put Boak in there. They'll put Bergman in there. Like Horn Francis could be back. He could be in there. They're so evenly good. Like Butters is a little bit better than them, but they're so evenly good. But Collingwood, it's like Nick Dacos, like Pendlebury and Sabram obviously are elite still, but not where Nick Dacos is. And neither is Ned Long. Neither is Crisp. So I don't know. It's so even of a midfield at Port. You can't spend your time with Ed Langdon just tagging.
No, but it was. I hadn't seen a proper tag like that before. sort of.
Yeah,
in
the
a while.
closest was like the Corey Wagner. His one was also very good, but this one was...
This one, like when Melbourne had the ball and were attacking, he did not care.
No,
he was not trying to get free. He was standing with Nick Dacos.
No, there could have been an open goal and the ball was sitting in it, and he was 30 metres away. If Nick Dacos didn't go near it...
It was not going anywhere near it. And then Collingwood, to their credit, would bring Nick Dacos off.
Yeah.
And then 30 seconds, a minute later, he's back on the ground and Langdon can't get back on. I think Melbourne was shell-shocked when it happened the first time.
Yeah, brought him up and they're like, oh, Ed, he's out there.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
He had his arms up trying to get on. He couldn't get on. The ball's on the other side.
Didn't even sit down. That's genius.
I
love that.
Every time Dacos came off, that is what happened.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I want to have a look at his time on ground for that.
Couldn't have been long.
Because it would be up there.
Yeah, couldn't have been too long. What I've gone for this one was two blokes you went, which was Rosie and Wines for 24 plus each, $2.35. That's obviously a tab, having the 24 plus each. The D's give up the second most uncontested possessions, which equals just disposals for these two. They're just going to rack them up. Rosie hasn't had less than 27 that once moving to the back line. So I had him under 20.5, but he had 27 every other time. And Wines loves whenever they play an uncontested possession team, he racks it up. He has early in the season, and the reason he's kind of dropped off recently is purely just because they've played teams that don't allow them near as much. So those two players, $2.35 to get 24 plus each. Like I said, Rosie should, given his positional change, and Wines should because he loves an uncontested possession. That's it. Really, did you find his time on ground?
He had 90% time on ground.
It's not bad. Not from midfielder. He's incredible.
Next midfielder was Steele Sidebottom with 86, but
then Ed Langdon.
Ed Langdon with 87.
87. The fittest player in the probably the fittest player in the competition.
Petrarca had 84.
Yeah.
Clayton Oliver only had 78. And
that extra 6% is so much like for a midfielder. Like you shouldn't be playing.
Because you look at the only people above Nick Dacos.
Full
Jeremy
backs.
Howe, Bailey Fritsch, Billy Frampton, Jake Lever, Stephen May, Darcy Moore.
They're all backmen,
all defenders
but
but Fritsch. Yeah.
That's insane.
And then even under him, it's Christian Salem at 89%. So he was on the ground for a long time.
Spending more time on the ground than Dan Turner's crazy. Given Dan Turner's a backman. Yeah, that's nuts. But let's get into the very last game of the round, which should be a stink fest, but actually a massive danger game for West Coast, for Carlton. Because they can't lose to the Tigers, then lose to West Coast. They've already played each other once this year.
I think it was Gather Round. I have a feeling it was Gather Round.
Yeah, Blues v Eagles 2025. Have they played each other?
I think it was Gather Round.
No, I'm not. They have. They have played each other. Oh, yeah, you know why I know they have? Because I had Kerno for 3+. And then I put him on the no-bet list. And that's exactly what I've done this week. I've gone Kerno 3+, $1.87. This is the resurrection game. Anyway, the odds there are $1.24 for Carlton, $4.10 for West Coast. The line's 25.5. But as I said, Kerno 3+ to resurrect himself for his undoing.
I don't know. Harry's not in Hoovel anymore.
No, he's not.
He's made a name for himself. He could lock him. He's locked down Nick Larkey.
But if Harry Mackay doesn't play, they See, this is the problem. This was the exact mindset I had last time. It was Lewis Young and Charlie Curnow playing forward because there was no Harry Mackay, and he couldn't kick 3. And now I've done it again. So this is just me. This is at $1.90. I'm trying to make my money back for what he did to me previously. And if he doesn't do it, he's right back on the list. Right back on the no-bet list. But yeah, as I said, I think this is a danger game for Carlton. Like, they have such an easy fixture. They played West Coast twice already. They're gonna play. They played Tigers twice. They might play North twice. They might play all 3 of them twice, which is 6 games. You should just win all 6 of them, and they've already lost 1. But $1.24 for them is probably fair. But it is Eagles over there, and we know some of the boys like Reed, like Baker. I feel like get up and about.
They play well over there.
They play so well over there, but again, no one gets 25.
No,
but they just play so much better.
Which baffles me. That actually baffles me that no one on West Coast is averaging more than 22.
No, incredible. But yeah, I just think it's a worry for Carlton. They have to win this game purely so Icon Park doesn't get burnt down by the time they get home. What have you gone for?
There would have been a riot if Essendon came back and won. they were up by 40 or 30 something.
37.
Yeah, and just the commentators were like, "Oh, it'd be in the back of their minds, like about their second halves and all that stuff." It was like, oh,
What does Voss say at halftime? Does it say, "Boys, I know our second halves are fucked,
yeah, I don't know.
but don't fuck this one up."
And then what happens in the first 10 seconds? Matt Guelphy kicks a goal.
Yeah. Oh, the first 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Very first 10 seconds. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, I was with my girlfriend watching the footy, and she's a Carlton fan. As soon as it go, I went, "Uh-oh." Kind of side and went, "Oh, this is
getting
it.
ugly."
This is it. So who you got for this?
I've gone Sam Walsh for 25, and then I've gone Baker for 20, and then backed up again with Elijah Hewitt and Harley Reid for 15 for $3.75.
Yeah, I read that bet. I like that bet.
If Hewitt gets through, I know he was struggling with a little bit of an ankle complaint from the first quarter, but he played the rest of the game out, which was good.
You would have looked at the AFL injury list, I believe.
It would have only just updated, I think.
Let's have a look at that. So Hewitt, did not.
It hasn't been.
He hasn't been updated
No.
yet. But
maybe because of the round ended yesterday.
But young midfielder Clay Hall had 30 disposals and 2 goals on like 2 weekends ago. I'm not sure what he had on the weekend. So if Hewitt goes out, Clay Hall probably comes in because he's played some good footy this year. They do have a lot of like very average midfielders that can come through. Like Campbell Chesser is like an okay young footy player.
He just hasn't been able to get a break through injury.
Yeah. So in Clay Hall has shown some good. I'm pretty sure Clay Hall's got a Rising Star nomination this year already. I could be so wrong with that statement, but anyway, that's our main bets for the round. Let's talk about your mega multi from last round. It's 2 weeks
LDU.
ago. 2 weeks ago, you had
18.
Sanders missed. You had 13 instead of 15, and now LDU had.
So when it makes it past the week, when it makes it past Thursday, it generally goes all right.
It does genuinely go all right, and that was a big one. That would have got you like if those two mega multis hit, you're so well back into it.
4 disposals.
Yeah, it's like 13 odds one and a $16 odds one. Like that's close to $30 odds. You're looking at an extra $600 there. You're back into it and you're smashing the guess. But what I've advised you is I think you make a mega multi, and then you go okay, and then you just take one out.
Delete one.
You just take one because that's because you do that. As you said to me, plenty to 20, plenty for 20 minus 1. So let us know about your mega multi.
I've gone. It's in
one of those.
Similar format to the other ones.
Yep.
But they're like one of them has to hit. Like, has to.
Mathematically, if they're $13 odds, all of them, 1 in 13 of them, should hit.
So I've got 11 more rounds.
11 more rounds to go.
And what we've lost.
No, this is round 13.
This is round 13.
Oh, sorry, this is round 14.
Yeah.
Okay, but so you're now overdue.
I'm
for a mega multi.
Yeah,
so you're a mega multi. Okay, so this one hits. I'm getting on this. So
I've got Sinclair, Bont, Whitfield, Neil, Callahan, if he plays, Martin, Caldwell, Sheasel, Daniel, Wines, Rosie, Oliver, and Walsh for 20. And then Ward, Amon, Bolton, Rivers, Burgoyne, and Duggan for 15. Jason, not Sean.
Yeah. And what else do we got for that?
$12.51.
$12.51 to nearly the $13 odd mark. We're so due. I'm hitting this one. Can't lose. If you had to play...
You had to say that, didn't you?
You
had to say that.
If you had to take a player out, who would it be?
If I had to take one player out...
Suspense. You can't take it. You can't pick one.
It'd have to be Liam Duggan, I reckon.
Has to be Liam Duggan. So what I'm doing is I'm placing this mega multi and I'm taking out Liam Duggan. Fair enough. My mega multi for this one is just a few of my legs from the rest of the games. Just put together. I've gone short $6 odds because I'm pretty confident in this one and I didn't want to kind of cook it with extra legs. I'm actually very confident. Dogs minus 20.5, Lead 25 plus, Berry 15 plus. Levi Ashcroft 15 plus and Rosie 20 plus for $6.06. I'm actually very confident in that bet. The only thing I think really could cook me is if somehow the Saints came out and played unbelievably or Laird didn't get 25, but I really think he will. That's $6.06. So that's all my bets for that one. So hopefully, next round, before those bets, we'll get into our Coleman and our Premiership bets and see how those go. But until then, get on Doss's Mega Multi because it's due. It's overdue. We'll see everyone next week.